A dinner that changed everything. This morning, as we shared breakfast, my wife Ellen, who has been my partner for 19 years, said something unexpected. "I've invited a friend over for dinner tonight," she announced. "His name is Brian. I met him at the gym, and I'll be spending a lot of time with him. I want you to meet him because I don't want any secrets between us." I blinked in surprise. "Are you two training together?" I asked innocently. "Well, in a way," she replied with a sly smile. "It's going to be very physical." I stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. "It sounds like you're planning to have an affair with this guy." She met my gaze, calm and unbothered. "Does it?" "Well, yeah," I admitted. Ellen leaned forward and said matter-of-factly, "I've realized that no matter how much I love you, and no matter how kind you are, and you are very kind, I just need more than one man in my life. For 18 years, I was your loving, faithful wife. But recently I've felt empty. Then I met Brian. He filled that void. I've come to see that he's my soulmate." I ignored the double meaning in her words, though it stung. Wow. I didn't know someone could have more than one soulmate. "Does this mean I'm being replaced?" "Don't be silly," she said, brushing off my concern. "You're my first soulmate, and you'll always be my primary one. I just need more. I'm being upfront because I respect you, and I hope you'll be polite when you meet him. I even invited him for your sake. I want you to see how wonderful he is and, hopefully, become friends so I don't have to hide this relationship from you." I sat in silence, unable to find an appropriate response. As far as I knew, Ellen had never been unfaithful before. I quietly excused myself and went to work. Her smug, self-satisfied expression burned into my mind. I didn't know if I could stomach dinner at home that night. The dinner party. That evening, I returned home at my usual time. The aroma of a delicious meal filled the house. Ellen called out from the bedroom, "Dinner's almost ready. I'm just getting dressed. Brian should be here any minute. Please pour him a drink and make him feel welcome." "Sure thing," I called back, trying to mask my sarcasm. Just then the door opened, and in walked Brian. He didn't knock or ring the bell. He just strolled in like he owned the place. "Hi, Bill. I'm Brian," he said smugly, extending his hand. "Thanks for sharing your wife with me." Ignoring his hand, I looked him over. He was young, fit, and decently attractive, but nothing extraordinary. "Ellen will be down shortly," I said. "She asked me to offer you a drink. A scotch, neat, would be great," he said casually. I smirked. "Well, since you've been here before, you know where the bar is. Help yourself." Brian poured himself a generous glass, looking unfazed by my tone. He sat down across from me, radiating confidence. "So, you met Ellen at the gym," I started. "Did she seduce you right away, or did she play it cool for a while?" He hesitated, looking confused. "We had coffee a couple of times and really connected. Then one thing led to another." "I see," I replied. "You know, when Ellen said she was inviting a friend over, I assumed it was Kevin. I didn't expect you." "Kevin?" Brian asked, puzzled. "Yeah," I said, leaning back in my chair. "I saw him at the doctor's office last week. He seemed upset about something. Maybe it was what Ellen left him with." Brian froze, visibly uncomfortable. He took a large sip of his drink, just as Ellen descended the stairs. She was stunning in a red dress, her hair perfectly styled and her makeup flawless. "You two have already met," she beamed, oblivious to the tension. "Yes," I said cheerfully. "I was just telling Brian about Kevin and how he seemed sore after seeing you." "What?" Ellen stammered, her confidence wavering. "Who's Kevin? I've never—" "Come on, Ellen," I interrupted. "You were honest about Brian. Why not tell him about your other conquests?" "There's no Kevin. There's no—" "Anything," she snapped, glaring at me. Turning to Brian, I added, "Think about it. If my loving wife can cheat on her husband of 19 years, what makes you think she won't do the same to you? My advice? Use a condom. Or two." With that, I stood up, grabbed my coat, and walked out the front door. Aftermath. I parked a few blocks away, watching the house from a distance. 5 minutes later, Brian stormed out, looking flustered. Ellen had cooked a beautiful dinner, but it was all for nothing. I'll miss her cooking, but not enough to stay.